Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the WD Broadcasting Network. Tonight we are with the Mid-South iRacing Tour once again. Here we are at the Bullring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Short little 3/8 mile. Obviously Bullring, you see the little paperclip shape there. But it's not your traditional little Bullring. It's got a lot of character to it. As you see, the two-time champ Carter making his way down the curved back straightaway. I actually got a chance to do some practice laps on this setup. It's very I don't know, these guys are going to have a weird loose condition trying to go into the corner, so they're going to have to really back off the entrance of the corner, and then heading down the back straightaway, it's just kind of hard to keep the car pointed in the right direction while keeping your foot planted to the floor. So should be a pretty exciting race. Got 14 cars strong here at the Bullring. In about 3 minutes, we're going to have qualifying action coming at you. And then, I believe, a 75-lap race, so should be a pretty exciting event. Hopefully it can top last night with the Crown Jewel Super Late Model Series. We had a bit of a rough night there at the South Boston Speedway, but hopefully that all gets resolved next week as they head to the Langley Speedway. Next week for the Mid-South iRacing Tour, we are heading to Southern National Motorsports Park, one of my personal favorite tracks. It's a really fun little 0.4 of a mile high banked oval. Kind of the same idea there as Bullring here. Get down into the corner well and really roll to the center of the corner and point yourself straight as you can on the exit. But right here I'll show you on the left side of your screen just how close the times are between everybody. Quite a bit of fall off, but Peyton Howell definitely got it figured out in the 52 machine. He's got quite the lap time there. When I was practicing, I was really only able to get down to a low 14.4 and a high 13.3 was the best I got. I'd be currently in the second spot, but obviously I am up here in the booth and not on the racetrack, which might be for the better of these guys. I don't think last week's winner, Michael Crafton, is going to make the call here tonight. We got about a minute left in practice, and you see Peyton Howell right here, the Premier Racing Setups number 52. He's got a pretty good piece here tonight. He's quick time as of now. We'll see where he stacks up after qualifying, but you see him hugging that bottom line nicely, able to keep the car down there and get it up off the corner. But yeah, Bullring, definitely one of the weirder tracks on iRacing. It's really hard, and right there you saw him kind of miss the bottom there in turns 3 and 4. It's really hard to get down into that corner well, especially with the way that the backstretch is angled. So we're going to see these guys try and tackle this racetrack. It will be a 100-lap event here tonight. I do believe I said 75 earlier. I do apologize, but 100 laps coming at you in a second. We got 10 seconds left of practice, and then we will be qualifying and giving these drivers the green flag. Alrighty, well, it's time to qualify. The first driver on the racetrack, the MK Performance number 21 machine. One of the winningest drivers in Mid-South iRacing Tour history. He's a two-time champion in the Super Late Model division. He's heading out of turns 3 and 4 right here. Actually locking down the brakes right there, but that is Carter Russo. Russo has a lot of success in the Mid-South iRacing Tour, as I mentioned, 2 championships in his 3 seasons. Last year came home second to his other MK Performance teammate Mark Keatman Jr. Right now, top of the board, though, Peyton Howell with a 14:37. Quicker lap than what we saw him go in practice, so the track might be picking up a little bit of speed here just in time for qualifying. As everybody is starting to pull into the pits, a couple guys taking laps early, a couple guys wait until the end. One of those guys that is waiting a little bit is your defending champion, Mark Keatman. Keatman in the number 2. Up on the top side of the racetrack, you see him kind of drive it off the top, getting the good run to the line. He's going to have a good run into turns 1 and 2 here. We'll see what he can do on lap number 1. Didn't get the greatest of exits there on the exit of turn number 2. But he's going to try and improve into 3 and 4. Looks like a good corner right there. Rolled the center very nicely. And lap number 1 for Keatman. I don't think he's going to get a lap time. He might have tagged the wall. And lap 2 looked very ugly there through turns 1 and 2. So Mark Keatman not going to be starting this race up towards the front where I'm sure he'd like to be. But Keatman on lap 2, a 15:39. That is last right now, 10th quick. So, tonight in qualifying, Peyton Howell has broken the track record. The previous track record was a 14:40 set by Carter Russo back on February 16th of this year. So Peyton Howell going to be collecting a reward for that, I'm sure. The last time we were here, Carter Russo took home the victory. There's 100 laps, 3 cautions. So we might be able to replicate that here tonight. As I believe the last car right here to turn a lap, we have about a minute, 20 seconds left in the qualifying session. And out of turn number 4, the Crete, Illinois driver, Ethan Wolf, making his way into turns 1 and 2. He's working his second lap right here, trying to get the best he can. Kind of pushes up in the center of 3 and 4 right there. A little bobble on the exit. And lap number 2 for Wolf. That'll put him 6th quick with a 14:64. So right now your top 5, Peyton Howell, Carter Russo, Colton Coe, John Piet, and Julian Valadez in the 0-2-1. 2 drivers not taking time. Michael Stillwell, Drew Chance. So as the checkered flag is thrown in qualifying, that's going to do it. Peyton Howell goes to the top. Carter Russo 2nd. Colton Coe 3rd, as I mentioned earlier. And that is going to bring us to the grid for this 100-lap feature event. So on screen right here, you see the grid for tonight's feature event. Peyton Howell going to be rolling off on the pole. Carter Russo 2nd. In the 3rd spot, it'll be Colton Coe from Fort Wayne, Indiana, and to his outside, it's John Piet in the number 5. Julian Valadez and Ethan Wolf make up row number 3. And then it's Nick Smith and Austin Coe in row 4. Michael Dunn in the 62 machine, going to be rolling off 9th, and rounding out the top 10, it'll be Jake Brooks in the 57. Back behind them, it's David Hill in the number 8 machine. And then to his outside, it'll be Mark Keatman. And then back behind them, a couple other guys tagging the tail end of the field, not making a qualifying lap. Mike Ashby, Michael Stillwell, Galen Clark, and Drew Chance rounding out the 6-car field. So Peyton Howell obviously having some pretty good speed in practice and qualifying. He's going to be rolling off on the pole, but we got 100 laps of feature racing. So we're going to have to see if he is able to hang on to the top spot. Carter Russo obviously picked up the victory last time we were at the Bullring. Can he go back to back? We're going to find out in about 100 laps. Carter Russo finished 3rd place last week in the 21 machine at Myrtle Beach. I do apologize, was not able to make that race. I had some scheduling conflicts late in my afternoon that kind of made me miss the show. I do feel bad about it. I'm sure I missed a great race at Myrtle Beach, but we're back here tonight at the Bullring. So up top, you see 100 laps to go. The field making its way around behind the iRacing.com pace truck. So the field making its way around. They're going to see the white flag right here. And folks, while we're going around this final pace lap, I want to hear who it is you were cheering for in the chat below. So everybody give me their picks early on before we send them green flag racing for 100 laps. Down the back straightaway. The pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack and makes its way down pit road into turns 3 and 4. It is in the hands of the number 52 of Peyton Howell and Carter Russo. Out of turn number 4, we are green flag racing into turns 1 and 2 at the Bullring. Howell kind of had a bad start there on the bottom side of the racetrack. That's going to allow Russo to get by and get down in front of him into turns 3 and 4. Leader of lap number 1 will be the 21 machine of Carter Russo. Russo into turns 1 and 2. Colton Coe slipping by. Howell in the 52 as well. So Howell did not get a good start right there. Might be trying to save his stuff here early on. As I mentioned, 100 laps is going to be a long time here at the Bullring. But everybody doing a nice job of getting single filed out and down the back straightaway here. You see almost everybody single file throughout the field. Out back, David Hill and Michael Dunn battling for the 10th spot. In front of them, Mark Keatman and Austin Coe. We're having a battle right there as well. Ethan Wolf taking a peek to the inside of the 021 of Julian Valadez. This is for the 4th spot on the track, 5 laps in. And Carter Russo is still your leader, but right here for second, Colton Coe kind of falling back a little bit. Peyton Howell really able to roll the 52 through the center of the corner and kind of close that gap a little bit. Russo still got a pretty comfortable advantage. It was a little bit odd there. The start looked like Howell just might have either spun the tires or didn't get as good of a jump as Russo did, but Russo was able to get around easily. But now he's got Colton Coe on his back bumper into turns 3 and 4. Colton Coe all over it right there. You see him kind of checking up, trying not to get into the back end of the number 21 machine. Had a little bit of a bobble going in. That's going to lose a little bit of ground. But still 3 cars right here under a blanket for the top spot. Out back, Galen Clark moving around Michael Dunn in the 62 machine for the 12th spot in front of them. David Hill, Nick Smith, and Mike Ashby all right there battling for position. We didn't see Ashby in the practice session or the qualifier. He kind of got into the session a little bit late, but he's making a charge through the field. A little bit of contact there. The 10 machine going up the racetrack. He's going to lose some spots, but Ashby started 13th in this one. He's already up to the 9th spot, so a lot of speed in the 00 as per usual. is back up front. Carter Russo has a couple car lengths advantage on the 78 of Colton Coe. As out back, the 28 of Austin Coe stuck up on the top side. He's got Michael Dunn to his inside. And on fresh tires, we've only had about 13 laps on these tires, and fresh tires at the Bullring is not the time to be up top. Everybody's got the grip down low, and they're just able to make the inside work so much better. But Coe doing a nice job here, just kind of holding his own. Dunn's going to be able to slip by, but Coe didn't lose too much ground on him there. Is up in front of them. Mark Keatman is charging through the field. He is already up 7 positions from his 12th place starting spot, knocking on the back door of Ethan Wolf for the 4th position. We saw Keatman get around Valadez for the 5th spot, and he's now all over Ethan Wolf. Looks like Wolf going to kind of pull over, let Keatman go. As problems up front. Russo and Coe might have had a little bit of contact right there. And Coe going around in the 78. So there must have been contact right there, because that looked a little bit intentional from the 21 machine of Carter Russo. We'll take a look at what happened. So right here you see the 78 of Coe on the exit of 4. Russo got a little bit loose, and Coe gets into 1, just grabs the left rear, tries to go to the bottom of the racetrack. That allows Peyton Howell to slip right through, and then going into turns 3 and 4 right here, the payback from the 21 gets in there and sends the 78 machine for a spin. So Colton Coe and Carter Russo having problems here in the early going. On lap number 17 out of 100. I believe both of them going to be going to the back after that one. But look up front right here. Peyton Howell going to inherit the lead after that one, but back behind him, Mark Keatman up 10 positions from his 12th place starting spot. He's looked pretty strong in the number 2 machine. He's got the fastest lap out of anybody in the field so far. So a lot of speed from the MK Performance number 2. We're going to see if he has anything for the number 52 right here on this start. So the field's still behind the iRacing.com pace car. Sorry, pace truck. They're doubling up right here. I believe we're going to see 1 to green this time by, and indeed the lights do fade away on the iRacing.com pace truck. So we will be sending them back green flag racing right here with 79 laps to go. So it'll be Peyton Howell, Mark Keatman, Ethan Wolf, Julian Valadez, and John Piet, your top 5. As they head into turns 3 and 4. It's in the hands of Peyton Howell and Mark Keatman right here. You see the field coming off of the corner. Howell getting, I believe, a better start that time, but Keatman got a good start up top as well, and they stack up behind him. Keatman's able to get in line. As I say that, the caution flag flies. The number 10 machine of Nick Smith around in turns 1 and 2. We'll take a look at what happened. So right here on the start, you see them stacking up. Galen Clark and the 38 stacks up right there, and Nick Smith got on the brakes and just nowhere for the 28 machine of Austin Coe to go, and that'll send the number 10 for a slide and put us under yellow for the second time here tonight on lap number 23. So this time around, we're going to have 24 laps in 76 to go. So Howell got a good restart that time. Keatman was right there with him, but he kind of fell back and got in line in front of your third place car, Ethan Wolf, in the 112. So Keatman just kind of wanting to get down and in line and then chase down your leader under green, which is what we saw him do. During that first green flag run, he was able to work his way up into the 4th spot. But still very early on in this one. These guys not really wanting to show their hand quite yet. So out of turns 3 and 4 right here, they come across the stripe. The lights drop on the iRacing.com pace truck, and the field starts to double up behind your leader, Peyton Howell. So we will be sending him green this time around. The pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack and heads down pit road. Once again, it's Peyton Howell and Mark Keatman going to be bringing us to the green right here. Through turns 3 and 4, they get to the start zone, and Howell gets a good start. Keatman also right there with him gets a really good start. He's going to have a chance to roll the outside. Looks like he's going to fall back just a little bit and drop back in line behind your leader, Peyton Howell. So Keatman able to get in line. Ethan Wolf right behind him. Kind of stacked up a little bit through the center of turns 3 and 4. Looks like everything's going to pan out there okay. Back behind him, Colton Coe and Mike Ashby go into battle for the 5th spot. Ashby in front, Coe behind. Remember, he was caught up in that earlier incident with Carter Russo, and look who's right behind him right here. So Colton Coe and Carter Russo right back by each other, and we got to think, after Coe got, blatantly taken out there, is he going to have any kind of rebuttal or any retaliation to the 21 machine of Carter Russo? It's still early on, but tempers could be flaring here at the Bullring. Mike Ashby that time going the fastest lap of anybody in the race so far. So Ashby has some speed in the 00 machine. 32 laps in, and we have a yellow flag. Michael Dunn spun around out back. We'll take a look at what happened to the 62 machine. So right here coming out of turns 1 and 2, just a little bit too much for Nick Smith going into the corner right there and got into the back bumper of Michael Dunn, sending him sliding to a stop, and that puts us under yellow for a 3rd time. So race leader Peyton Howell on the bottom of the racetrack. He's not quite let them all so far. He had to fend off Carter Russo and Colton Coe, but after they had their little contact, he inherited the lead. And he is back up front where he started this one. But to his outside, he's got a guy that had a poor qualifying run, but has made up for it already in the race. Mark Keatman, the defending champion, definitely knows his way around this track. Now to turn number 4, Howell and Keatman going to lead us back to the green. They both go nicely As Keatman gets a good start, he's going to try and roll the outside here through turns 1 and 2. Try and get that run down the back straightaway. Looks like Howell's going to have an advantage into turns 3 and 4. Keatman's going to have to fall back into line in front of Ethan Wolf, as back behind him, Mike Ashby, Julian Valdez going at it for the 4th spot. Valdez up top, Ashby down low. Carter Russo behind him as well. As Valdez just trying to keep it as quickly, or keep it as quick as he can up top. As I mentioned earlier, it's just hard to roll the top here at the Bullring with the way that the line is. It's just a really odd line you have to take to make it work up top, as Valdez is going to lose a couple positions right there. But he falls back in a line in the 6th spot in front of Colton Coe. As back up front, your leader, Peyton Howell. And Mark Keatman had broken away a little bit from Ethan Wolf. As Keatman works the back bumper of Peyton Howell, trying to find a way around. And the caution flag flies. Julian Valdez having trouble in the 21. So we'll take a look at what happened. Put us under yellow once again. So it starts right here in turns 3 and 4. You see the 0-21 of Valdez a little bit loose in the exit of turns 3 and 4, and then going into turns 1 and 2. He's on the top side of the racetrack. Just squeezes Galen Clark a little bit too tight right there, and they make contact, and around goes the 0-21. So that puts us under yellow once again. So up front, your leader is Peyton Howell still. As we've seen, Mark Keatman able to get some good starts on the outside, just not able to go anywhere with it. Just that outside lane really difficult to roll here at the Bullring. So we'll see if he has anything for him here on this restart. And we're on board right here with your leader, Peyton Howell, going into turns 3 and 4. We'll watch him on this restart get up through the gears and down into turns 1 and 2. As you see right here, he gets in a loud pedal, gets through the gears nicely, and they are green flag racing into turns 1 and 2. So Keatman up top, rolling the outside of the corner, contact behind him. Ethan Wolf went up the racetrack into the 0-0 of Mike Ashby, and there is a storm behind him. Carter Russo and Ashby sideways. Yellow flag is out. Colton Coe out back in the 78 machine, pointed the wrong direction. So I'll take another look at what happened. We saw them all stacking up into the corner right there. Don't know what exactly happened to the 78 machine at Coe, but we'll take another look as they're exiting turns 1 and 2. So right here, Coe up top after that contact. Older brother Austin checking up to let him in line there, and then the 5 of John Piet just gets in a little bit too hot through the center. Grabs the left rear of the 78 machine, and that sends him spinning up the racetrack. And that'll put us under yellow once again. So the field back, double file behind the iRacing.com pace car. It's Peyton Howell, Mark Keatman once again. We're approaching the halfway mark in this one, and so far it's been pretty much Peyton Howell from the get-go. As we are out of turns 3 and 4, Howell with a much better restart that time, but Keatman's going to be able to get in line early and get down in front of Ethan Wolf. Carter Russo up top in the 21, trying to make it work around the outside of the 112. He gets into Keatman. Keatman's going to go sliding up the racetrack, and Keatman goes around in turns 3 and 4. He's got some big-time damage on the left side of that race car with some other contact. But we saw right there what happened. The 21 machine of Carter Russo got into the corner a little bit too hot and just got the back bumper of Mark Keatman. So we'll take another look right here. You see the 21 of Russo getting to the outside of Ethan Wolf, just gets in there and just really just drives into the back of Keatman and sends him spinning through the corner. Keatman doing a nice job of locking it down there, but Galen Clark with just nowhere to go in the 38 machine. So that puts us under yellow once again, as we are now past the halfway point in this one. Peyton Howell still the leader, but this time around it'll be Ethan Wolf lining up to his outside. We've seen Wolf running in the top 5 the majority of this race. He's going to be lining up second right here with Austin Coe and Mike Ashby behind him. Folks, if you're enjoying yourself here at the WD Broadcasting Network, I do encourage you to like the page and follow and share it around to your friends in case they'd like to see some iRacing action. Been having a lot of fun the past couple months broadcasting these races with a few different leagues and organizations. We've got a lot of future plans coming up, including the first annual virtual Kalamazoo Clash on January 7th. Make sure you mark your calendars and find your seats for that event, as it's going to be the first of its kind. It's going to be a great event with a lot of money on the line. So I'm sure we're going to see a lot of good competition there. Is back at the Bullring. We are 1 lap to go until we send them back. Green flag racing. We are past the halfway point, working lap 55 right now. As the pace car makes its way down pit road, Peyton Howell, Ethan Wolf going to be leading us to the green right here. So far, Howell's been able to get away nicely on these restarts, with the exception of that first one, but looks like he gets away nice there. Ethan Wolf going to have to fall back and maybe get in line in front of Mike Ashby. He's going to try and find a way down. Looks like he gets the run off the back straightaway, but Ashby going to be there in the 00 machine. Ashby down low, kind of forced the issue there in turns 3 and 4, but he's going to have the spot into turns 1 and 2. So give the second spot to Mike Ashby. Back behind him, Galen Clark, Jake Brooks side by side. Brooks up the racetrack, way up the track, lost several positions there in turns 3 and 4 that time. As Austin Coe grabbing the outside wall there. He's going to lose a spot to David Hill and younger brother Colton as well. In the past couple of weeks on iRacing, me and Austin have always kind of talked about he runs pretty good until he has a moment, and I always manage to catch that moment on the broadcast, and that right there, he grabbed that outside wall and lost a couple spots, including one to his younger brother Colton. He's still in that 6th spot, though, trying to make his way back forward, but up front, Mike Ashby, Peyton Howell, going to have a battle for the lead here shortly. 40 laps to go at the Bullring. As Peyton Howell is your leader, and as I say that, the caution flag flies. David Hill in the 03 with issues in turns 1 and 2. We'll take a look at what happened. So David Hill was battling with Colton Coe for that 4th spot. You see Hill in the 03, and they're battling in 1 and 2 right there. And it looks like they kind of just ran out of room. One came down and one kind of went in a little bit deeper than the other anticipated. And they make contact, and that sent the 0-3 sliding up the racetrack. So that'll put us under yellow for another time here at the Bullring. So back under yellow. Howell was able to keep the lead that time, but now he's going to have Mike Ashby lined up to his outside door. Ashby obviously having a lot of speed this race, but Peyton Howell has just been so good on the restarts, not really had any trouble holding everybody off. But with Mike Ashby to his outside, he might have a bit of a challenge here with under 40 laps to go. Everybody is done kind of waiting around. And things are going to start heating up here, as I believe we see the 1 to go signal next time around. And during this caution period, I'm going to step away really quick and go refill up my cup of water. And I'll be right back on the WD Broadcasting Network. So back just in time as the pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack. It's Peyton Howell, Mike Ashby, Ethan Wolf, and Colton Coe, your top 4, as they make their way through turns 3 and 4 and through the iRacing start zone. We are back racing. Ashby not that good of a start in the second spot, but he kind of played that one well enough to fall in line in front of Ethan Wolf in the 112. Behind them, Wolf and Coe battling for the third spot. Wolf in the 112 machine sitting third right now. Colton Coe trying to make his way around in the 78. Is up front. Peyton Howell got a mirror full of Mike Ashby there through the center of turns 3 and 4 that time around. This time in, 69 laps in and 31 to go. Howell still able to hold off Mike Ashby for now, but with under 30 to go this time around, Ashby's going to have to turn up the dial a little bit here and try and find a way to the back bumper and around Peyton Howell in the 52 last time around. That last time around, Mike Ashby a little bit quicker than Peyton Howell. So as things start to wind down, we'll see if Mike Ashby's got anything for your race leader, but behind them, the battle for third once again heating up. Colton Coe starting to close in the gap to the back bumper, the 112 of Ethan Wolf. Coe tried to get to the inside that time, didn't really have anything for him. Had to back out as Wolf was slamming the door shut. That time around, Wolf kind of slipped up through the center of turns 1 and 2. That's going to open up the door for Colton Coe down low. Coe to the bottom in turns 3 and 4, trying to make it work down low and get the run off of the corner. Looks like he's going to be able to. Ethan Wolf going to try the crossover here down the back straightaway. Going to bury it into turns 3 and 4. He's going to slide way up the racetrack. End up losing a little bit of ground there to Colton Coe. Coe slamming the door shut in turns 1 and 2, and behind him, Austin Coe going for a slide. As Austin Coe going for a slide in turns 1 and 2. That puts us under yellow once again, and we'll take a look at what happened. So right here you see Coe in the 5th spot in the 28, just gets into the corner and just kind of gets plowed through basically by the 38 of Galen Clark. So Coe going to be towards the back after that one. That kind of sucks for him because he was running in that 5th spot. Had a good run going. And then to get kind of taken out right there, it really does suck for Austin Coe. Back into the 11th spot right here. 11 cars on the lead lap at this point in the race. So up front, Peyton Howell and Mike Ashby going to lead us to the green this time around. They'll be coming to 20 laps to go. So 20 to go this time. Peyton Howell really hasn't had any trouble on the restart since he got the lead back from Carter Russo. So we'll see if Ashby's got anything for him right here. So through turns 3 and 4 and into the iRacing start zone. Mike Ashby gets a good start that time up top, but he's going to have to fall back in line behind your race leader, Peyton Howell. No, he gets tagged by Colton Coe. Ashby and Coe down the back straightaway. And kind of an interesting deal right there. Coe goes for a spin in turns 3 and 4. I believe we're going to stay green for now. We might see the yellow flag come out, as Peyton Howell kind of set sail right there. No caution so far. But we saw out back Mike Ashby and Colton Coe make some contact, and then Ashby kind of continued it there down the back straightaway. And ended up getting into the 78 of Coe and spinning him out. But we stay green and 17 laps to go for race leader Peyton Howell. Ethan Wolf sitting in the 2nd spot and Julian Valadez 3rd. Mark Keatman has recovered in the number 2 machine. He's up to the 4th spot right now. He's going to work towards the back bumper of Julian Valadez for the 3rd position. Valadez kind of missed the bottom right there. That's going to allow Mark Keatman to look to the inside. So with 15 laps to go, move Mark Keatman back up into the 3rd spot. He's going to set his sights on Ethan Wolf, who currently sits in the 2nd position. Up front, though, it is all Peyton Howell. He's got about a second and a half over 2nd place Ethan Wolf. As Howell just really able to get that car pointed to the bottom and hug that white line through the center of the corner. You see right here, just right on that line and drive off the corner straight. That is how you do it at the Bullring. Really having no trouble in the 52. He's got 12 laps to go this time around to pick up the victory. So Peyton Howell through turns 3 and 4. Mark Keatman back behind him has gotten around Ethan Wolf for the 2nd spot. And Keatman last time around putting in a lap time almost a 10th quicker than race leader Peyton Howell. We'll see if Keatman's able to track him down, but we have 10 laps to go. And the gap is pretty big, down a second and a half between the two. So Mark Keatman going to have to put in everything he's got if he wants a shot at the victory. And oh, speaking of, the caution flag flies. Austin Coe spun around in turns 3 and 4 once again. And that's going to bring Peyton Howell's lead to nothing off of turns 3 and 4. So right here you see Coe going into turns 3 and 4, and the 00 of Ashby behind him just really drives through him in the center of the corner. We've seen that a few times this race, and unfortunately too, the 28 of Austin Coe. So Coe going around once again. Sure not the way he wanted to have his night go here tonight. So Peyton Howell going to be lining up next to Mark Keatman in the 2, Ethan Wolf 3rd, Julian Valadez 4th. We got 6 laps to go this time around. We're going to be sending them back green next time with 5 to go. So Peyton Howell, Mark Keatman going to lead us to the green once again. We saw Keatman start to reel in your race leader in the 52, but with only 5 laps to go, he's going to have quite a bit of a run here on the top side if he wants a shot at the victory. But they head through turns 3 and 4 and into the iRacing start zone. You see the cones right there. They get into the box, and we are back racing into turns 1 and 2. So into 1 and 2, the bumper to the back of the 52. Here comes Mark Keatman to the bottom. Keatman down low, got to the inside. Ooh, Howell tries to return the favor. Ethan Wolf going to slip to the inside now. 4 laps to go on a turn number 4. So Keatman took advantage on that one, got back up into the top spot. Howell now going to have to fight for the second spot with Ethan Wolf. Looks like he's going to pull the crossover in turns 1 and 2 and try and use the bottom side underneath Ethan Wolf, and the caution flag flies once again. David Hill out back in the 0-3 going around. So right here into turns 3 and 4, Ashby in the 00 just really drives in there way too hot once again. And an innocent bystander, the 0-3 of David Hill, going around in turns 3 and 4. So that's going to heat things up here with 3 laps to go. We're going to be sending them to a green-white checkered finish. It'll be Mark Keatman in the lead, Ethan Wolf in the second spot, but most importantly, Peyton Howell in the 52, going to be lining up in the 3rd position, right behind Mark Keatman, the guy that just moved him up out of the way. So we'll see how Peyton Howell chooses to deal with this one, as we're going to be having a green-white checkered finish. It'll be Keatman, Wolf, and Howell, your top 3. Julian Valadez in the 4th spot, and Colton Coe in the 5th position. So the field lined up double file into turns 3 and 4. The pace car makes its way down pit road. We're going to be sending them green through the iRacing start zone. We are back racing with a green-white checkered finish here into turns 1 and 2. Howell right away sending Mark Keatman up the racetrack and down the back straightaway. Howell going to try and look to the inside. Keatman going to have to go through a slide, and he overcorrects into Ethan Wolf and Peyton Howell. Julian Valadez is going to inherit the lead out of turns 3 and 4, and the caution flag flies. And wow, it all went to hell right there. You saw Peyton Howell get into Mark Keatman into turns 1 and 2. And then it really broke loose going down the back straightaway. We'll take another look at what happened. But there was no question on what happened there. That was payback from the 52 of Howell. As you see right here, Howell goes into the corner, gets the number 2 in the back bumper, sends him up the racetrack. Keatman does a good job recovering, kind of slides down the track, sliding into the corner, overcorrects back up into the 52, collecting Jake Brooks and Ethan Wolf as well. So that puts us under yellow for a final time. We're going to have one more attempt at the green-white checkered. It'll be Julian Valadez and Colton Coe, your top two. Jake Brooks in the third spot, and Mike Ashby in the fourth position. So Valadez right now trying to pick up, I believe, his first career victory here in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. So the field behind the iRacing.com pace car. We're going to be setting him green next time around. Julian Valadez trying to pick up his first career victory. Colton Coe also trying to pick up his first career victory in the Super Late Models, as well as Jake Brooks in the 57. So 3 drivers going for their first victory in the Mid-South iRacing Tour Super Late Model Division. Valadez goes nice and early. Colton Coe to the bottom side of the racetrack behind him, trying to get into the corner. A little bit of contact. Jake Brooks going to inherit the top spot down low. Mark Keatman 4 wide into turns 3 and 4 down low, trying to make it work. He gets into Jake Brooks in the 57 out of turn number 4. Here comes Colton Coe to take the white flag. And into turns 1 and 2. Coe has the lead down the back straightaway. Can he hang on for one more set of corners into turns 3 and 4? Keatman's going to have one more final chance at it, but up and out of turns 3 and 4. Colton Coe going to take the victory at the Bullring. Mark Keatman second and Mike Ashby third. So an exciting way to finish right there. We saw 4 wide into turns 3 and 4 at the Bullring, and somehow it worked out. One of the crazier things I've ever seen right there. I don't know if I've ever seen 4 wide work at the Bullring, but we saw it right there. And Colton Coe was able to drive around the top side right there and collect the victory, and he's going to burn it down on the front straightaway. He waited till the end, played his cards right there, and he's going to collect his first career victory in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. We're going to take a quick break and come back with an interview of our top 3 competitors here in just a second. Well, folks, we are back here on the WD Broadcasting Network. You see on screen your winner, Colton Coe, picking up his first career victory in the Mid-South iRacing Tour. We're going to drag him up here for a quick interview before we wrap things up. Well, Colton, we saw you kind of all over the place here tonight. You kind of hung around in the top 5 when your car was pointed in the right direction, but after a couple incidents, you worked your way back through the field. You're able to slip by Julian Valadez and Mark Keatman on that last lap and collect your first ever Mid-South iRacing Tour victory. How does it feel?
Feels pretty nice after what was basically chaos right there at the end. I kind of put it in the third lane and dirt tracked it off of the corner to get the good run. Um, so I'm obviously happy. That was definitely got my adrenaline pumping. Uh, Absolute chaos there at the end. I can't even describe what was happening.
Yeah, you and me both. I was really had a loss of words when I saw 4 cars going 4 wide into turns 3 and 4, and somehow it all worked out coming out of the corner. Luckily, you were able to, as you said, kind of dirt track it out of the corner right there and come across the line ahead of the rest of them and fend off Mark Keatman on that final lap. But an eventful race here. Is there anybody you got to thank that helped you grab the victory here tonight?
First of all, I gotta thank my dad for watching me, supporting me, and just buying me everything on iRacing that I need to come race here on a weekly basis. I'd like to thank Jake for giving us a little fun place to race on a Wednesday night. I'd like to thank all my sponsors, especially P1 Performance for supporting me through the race and Discord. And yeah, that's about it.
Alrighty, well, congratulations on your first ever victory here in the Mid South iRacing Tour.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that was Colton Coe, your winner here tonight. After a crazy last restart, to be honest. He ended up collecting the victory right there, and now we'll talk to our second place finisher, Mark Keatman. So I'm going to bring Mark in really quick. So Mark Keatman here in the booth. Well, Mark, we saw you really, as I said with Colton, all over the place right there. You had speed. The number 2 machine was good. You started from the back, worked your way forward, got in a little bit of trouble there with your teammate Carter Russo, came back through the field, and then it didn't quite work out there at the end. Tell me how your race went.
It was good-ish. Right. It is what it is.
Man
I
of
don't know
few
what
words.
I don't know what. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Peyton's mad about. Past I feel like I had the lead when I crossed him over, got screwed by the caution. And then I think the next caution wreck, drove all the way back to give him a 0x with what, 5 to go? What is it? Short track racing something? And then he freight trains me from the apron and dumps me down the straightaway. Wants to tell me to pass clean. So, I mean, I was working the wheel trying to save it and overcorrected after it bit. And I want to apologize to Jake. I would never do that to Jake. If you go back and look at it or whatever, it was definitely netcode. I wanted to stay on the bottom because I knew Jake was out there. Of course, Jake get the short end of the stick.
Yeah, and I saw everybody going into the turns 3 and 4, 4 wide, and it kind of worked out. I saw you really drive it in there on the bottom, and I was like, ooh, is this going to work out? And you made it kind of stick and ended up in the second spot. Is there anybody you got to thank that helped you out here tonight?
I just want to thank all the people that watch and support me week in and week out. They mean a lot. Yeah, that's about it. Rough night for sure.
Alrighty, well, congratulations on your second place finish here tonight. We wish you luck next week at Southern National.
Alrighty, thanks, man.
Yep. Well, folks, that was your second place finisher, Mark Keatman. And now we'll bring in our third place finisher, Mike Ashby. Well, Mr. Ashby, you finished third here tonight. We saw you up into the second spot a couple times trying to get around Peyton Howell, and then some more contact, sent you further back through the field, and you ended up third place here tonight. Tell me how your race went.
Just the usual people doing the usual things. Just happy to finish.
Yeah, that is one of the things. First, you have to finish in order to finish first, you must first finish. You've heard this a million times, and you ended up finishing third here tonight. Obviously, not the result you were looking for. You came in a little bit late in the qualifying session, didn't get a lap down, started from the 13th spot, but you worked your way up into third. Is there anybody you got to thank to help you out here tonight?
RKM Setup Shop, Justin Brooks Designs, Will and Dylan Motorsports.
Alrighty, well, congratulations on your third place finish here tonight. We wish you luck next week at Southern National. Alrighty, folks. Well, that was your third place finisher, Mike Ashby. And that's going to do it here tonight at the Bullring with the Mid-South iRacing Tour. Tomorrow night, we will be at the Lanier National Speedway with the WD Broadcasting Network Super Series for 125 laps. We might broadcast it, or we might get the first stream of me actually racing behind the wheel. It just depends on what the car count looks like when we get into the session, but we will keep everybody posted on what the plan is. But until then, hope everybody has a good rest of your week. And then, as always, y'all take it easy.